What's up, guys? Fish Keeper is here once again. This time we're going to be doing a review on the Aquatek Mini. This is a CO2 regulator made by Aquatek of California. I'll be talking about pros and cons, where to get it, where's the best place to get it as far as price and reviews, and that's what we got for you today. So let's talk about where to get this awesome little CO2 regulator. There's two places that you can get them, and well, two reliable places. One of them is Amazon, one of them is eBay. I'm gonna tell you right off the bat right now, eBay is gonna be the place to get it for cheaper. You can get it on Amazon if you trust Amazon more, but the problem with getting it from Amazon is that it's not actually Aquatek selling it, so they can't offer the best price. They need their margin, so you're gonna probably be paying about $20 extra if you get it on Amazon. And that's just because they have to cover their fees and stuff. Whereas if you go to eBay, Aquatek of California, which is a company that makes this, sells it themselves. So they take all the margins and they don't have to worry about pricing anything. So they're right now they have it listed for $69.99 free shipping. I live probably about 3 hours away from them, so I got it in two business days. They literally shipped it out and got it at my place in 2 business days. So that was awesome. It's also a small package, so you don't have to worry about the mailman having to figure out where to put it. It will fit in most boxes, most mailboxes. Again, you can get it at Amazon, no big deal, but those are third-party vendors. They want their profits, so you're going to pay a little extra. And also, from what I saw, this is one of those items that is labeled as special whatever conditions when it comes to shipping. So they won't ship this with Amazon 2-day Prime, so you won't get Prime on it. Basically, they're going to ship it as a regular shipping, which you might as well get it from eBay at that point, but that's up to you. Again, I don't get anything out of this though, but that's the best place to get it, eBay. Also, reviews on Amazon and eBay both point to this CO2 regulator is pretty good. I'll talk about some of the cons in a little bit, but I just want to talk about where to get it. So again, eBay, $69.99, free shipping. Took me about 2 days to get it, although I'm in Southern California just like them, so that wouldn't be a big deal. I would expect to get it pretty fast though, because they did ship like the next day, I believe, or I think that same day. So that's a good thing. So keep that in mind when it comes to wanting to buy it. Also on eBay, Aquatek of California has a 99.4% as a seller. Very good. That's really good, actually. So I think they only had like one bad review in the last 6 months, and that was somebody talking about some of the things that I'm gonna point out, but not completely deal breakers. Just kind of like, you know, there's always somebody that has a problem with something, and that's fine. That's fair. That's what we do as people. We complain or we agree with things. So the last thing I want to talk about was when it comes to like buying it somewhere is again on Amazon, the reviews, there's not tons of reviews, but they have good reviews on there. So for the most part, this is a well-rounded CO2 regulator. Competition wise, there's one other one that's similar, but it's about the same price, and it has more of a 3 out of 5 stars. So this one's more of a 4 to 5. That's what I would call it. I would call it a 4 out of 5, almost a 5, maybe a 4.5, because I do have one problem with it, but we'll talk about that in the next part of the video. So let's talk about a little bit of the pros and cons of this mini regulator. So let's go with right off the bat, let's go with the cons. And to do that, I'm gonna have to pick up the camera and show you. So one of the cons, honestly, probably the only con, is the needle control valve. Now ignore this stuff. This is all couplers and stuff that I added. That's not really part of it. Although it did solve my problem, and I'll talk about that in a little. So this is the needle valve, or needle control valve, whatever you want to call it. And it's very sensitive, to be honest. It can be a pain in the butt to really get down, but from what I've heard, a lot of regulators have a problem with their needle valves, so I wouldn't completely say that it's a deal breaker, because again, from what I've heard, I haven't used any other one though, from what I heard, it does happen to a lot of regulators. So it's one of those things where it's really touchy, so you might set it and then you walk away and you're like, wait, did it just increase itself? So there's a little bit of a resistance when you're turning it, and it's kind of hard to calibrate because we don't have a set way of calibrating it You know, there's no like special tool that'll let you, you know, 0.1 more % of pressure or whatever. So that's just going to be a human error slash the needle valve isn't the best. You know, it's kind of has a little bit of margin of error there, and if you can get over that, then this is a fine regulator. So that's one of the negatives. Not too bad. So because of that, you have to question the reliability. I did have a situation where it started to kind of gas off a little too much, although I didn't think I adjusted the needle valve too much, so it was a little questionable as far as if I can rely on it. I do check on it every like 3 or 4 days just to make sure it's good. So I wish I didn't have to do that, so that's part of the reason why I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5, 4, 4.5, something like that, because I'm questioning the reliability of it, but I want to say so far it's okay. I've had it for a month. One of the other negatives is this is only built for paintball CO2 setups. Only if you wanted to use it on a regular like fire extinguisher or 20-pound tank, CO2 tank, you would have to get an adapter to unadapt the paintball situation. So this is not the regulator you'd want, basically. You just want to get a regular regulator for something that's not paintball size. So this is basically only for paintballs. So make sure you know that, and you don't make the mistake of buying this and like, wait, I should have just bought the regular one or whatever, you know. And the last one is also one of those common things that happens with most regulators, and that is you really want to use thread tape when adapting or when connecting your regulator to your tank. Just want to make sure you don't have a leak, but that I think goes without say. Just make sure you use some thread tape or some sealant, and that way you won't have any leaks there. Let's go over some of the pros. I really like the size. So one of the pros in this is the size. It's pretty small. A situation like this where I'm in a kitchen and I don't have tons of space to have a big tank, it works out really good, because also regular regulators are pretty big, they're pretty bulky, and depending on the size of your tank, it might take away from like your eyes. Like if you're looking at a tank here and you see this giant 2 dual stage regulators over here, you might divert your eyes and not really focus on what you're looking at, which is your tank. So love the small size. That's honestly a really good thing right there. Another pro is the paintball. It could be a con or it could be a pro. The paintball setup. Most mini regulators that are meant for CO2, like paintball CO2 tanks, will lead you to get an adapter, which leads to another junction where you need thread tape because you don't want to have a leak. With this, the way they make this mini, it actually has it built in, so you don't have to go out and buy an adapter. It already has the adapter built in, so it's literally built for paintball tanks, so you don't have to worry about that. It's a really good pro, especially if that's what you're doing. It works great. Honestly, I've had it for a month. I haven't had any real issues, so I stand by it. I think it's a pretty good deal. I've gotten my money's worth, and I think the solenoid that it comes with, which is this that controls on and off, works really good, especially when you have it linked up to like a wireless timer that you can like, you know, schedule timers on and off. I have it scheduled so that I can do it on my phone, so I could just schedule like in the morning, turn it on, or whatever, turn it on later on, or an hour before the light cycle starts, an hour off, whatever. So you have a lot of playability with it because it's just a standard solenoid. You could just program it however you want with, you know, adapters and stuff or timers. You obviously, on its own, you won't be able to do that. You will just be able to unplug and plug it in. But that's how most of them are. Maybe in the future there'll be some that are like Bluetooth or something like that. But for now, this is probably the best you can get, solenoid. So that works out really well. I haven't had any problems with that, and so that's pretty good right there. Let's talk about what the Aquatek Mini comes with. So when you open up the box, you get some instruction manuals in here and a thank you letter from Aquatek of California. That's awesome and dandy, but we're not talking about that right now. Let's talk about the nitty gritty. What do you actually get when you buy this? So you get the solenoid already attached to the regulator, so that's obviously a thing. You don't get this. Sorry that this is here. I should have probably removed this before I made the video, but I already installed this, so just ignore this T right here and all this. This is what you get from the needle valve all the way this way. It's a pretty good setup. You get that, and then you get one additional item, which is this guy. a bubble counter. Now they don't have to add that bubble counter, but just based on pricing of other bubble counters and quality and stuff, this is not a bad bubble counter to start with. Honestly, I used it for a long time. I'm still using it. Right now the CO2 is off, so don't worry. It's just that I turned the lights on just to make this video. But so that's the bubble counter that it comes with. It's been working fine for me. I've had no issues with it, and not the prettiest, but it works very well. It comes with the clip. They didn't have to add that in, but they did, so that's honestly a really cool thing for them to do. They didn't have to do that, by the way. They do also sell really nice bubble counters like this one. This is an aftermarket one, but they have their own like brand one, and it's kind of gold, so you can do that too if you want, although it's like $16. Most bubble counters, even plastic ones, are going to be anywhere from $5 to $12-ish. This one was about $8 or $9, and it's just like a no brand thing. So it's a pretty good addition to add into your box. They didn't have to do that, but it's very nice. It's also a pro. So that's pretty much what it comes with, guys. Aquatek Mini, very good little regulator. Honestly, I'm glad I went with the Aquatek Mini and not like the weird knockoff brands that I found on Amazon or eBay. Have no issues with this. I'd be willing to spend the extra money to get another one later on probably, but for now, not a bad price either. $70 eBay, so they ship it to you right away, and that's what I got for now. One last thing, guys, just if in case I forgot to mention, CO2 is something that your plants are going to love. I honestly was questioning getting CO2 for a long time, and once I made the leap, honestly, I can't imagine not having CO2 anymore. So I just wanted to add that in there. If you're thinking about getting CO2 and you're watching this video because you're looking for a CO2 regulator, just know this regulator is pretty good. I don't have any experience with other regulators, but as far as I've seen, it's done its job. It's done really good, and it's honestly made my plants look way, way nicer. All the reds in my plants are red, all the greens are green, and all the plants are growing. Even the hard to grow plants are growing. So just a little added bonus. Like and subscribe if you can, guys. Click the notification bell so you can keep watching my videos. Leave a comment in the comment section and let me know what CO2 regulator you're using.